First of all, is the SDI the same on the Komodo X as it is on the original Komodo, or have they improved it? I would rather buy a Red Gemini or use the Red Gemini than the Komodo X. Hey, what's up guys? As you saw, Red just dropped the Komodo X, which is going to be a great addition to the DSMC3, and in this video I'm going to tell you my thoughts on the Komodo X and a few things that I kind of like had to think about when I saw that camera being released. First of all, is the SDI the same on the Komodo X as it is on the original Komodo, or have they improved it? And the reason why I'm asking is because if you guys are familiar with the old Komodo or the original Komodo, there's just a protocol around plugging in your monitor, and I would just love to see them talking about how they've improved it, or if it's the same. Obviously, people buying the Komodo X need to be aware of that, but also if you want to know, the difference between both cameras are mostly the ergonomics, because you do have the same sensor but you have a half a stop of dynamic range, which is good for those of you that like more dynamic range. In terms of resolution, I was actually hoping the Komodo X would bring more resolution, but it's actually 6K, but you do have a double the frame rate. This is good for people that shoot music videos, commercial, or any other thing that require over 60, or just capturing that beautiful smooth slow motion. As for me, I hardly shoot over 24 frame, because most of the stuff that I shoot, they just pretty much 24. And obviously being able to have that option to shoot 80 frames per second in 6K is really good. And another thing that they actually did is a locking RF, which is good because the original Komodo has a normal RF. And another thing that I saw is the change of the media, which is a CF Express, which is a better option if you ask me, which again, the people that have the Komodo X, they'll be able to store their media on a CF Express. And those are actually the changes that I've actually noticed, or the differences that I've noticed. But the difference in price is quite a lot if you ask me, and I would actually say the following: I would rather buy a Red Gemini or use the Red Gemini than the Komodo X, because I feel like the Red used Gemini is quite a good option. Or if you want to do what I did, swap to my Komodo with the Red Helium 8K, you can also do that. And I think one of the things that I really love about Red in this generation, or in this, like in 2023, they are becoming more affordable, and you can pick up a used Red, either Dragon, Gemini, or Monstro for really affordable. For me, I feel like the camera does not really offer that much of a difference, and the reason why I'm not really excited about the Komodo X is because basically, if you look at some other brand and the way they release camera, and I'll give you Sony for example, when they released the Sony F5, they also released the F55, and they actually made sure that there's such a big difference between those cameras, and the price that they put between the F5 and the F55, they made sure that you are getting your money worth. And later on, when they released the Sony Venice, it was such a big mile, or a big difference from the F55 to the Sony Venice. I'm also going to talk about Arri. When they released the Alexa Mini, yes, it was a good camera, but it had a lot of issue. And the few things that I never liked is I felt like the card with the Alexa Mini was on the way of the battery thing, and also the hot swappable thing. If you use the Alexa Mini, you know, but it was still a great camera. But when they introduced the Alexa Mini LF, they had to make sure that they're giving you, the user, more for what they are charging you as a difference, if I'm making sense. And I feel like what Red have done with the Komodo is almost similar to what Blackmagic did with the Blackmagic Pocket 6K and 6K Pro, because it was the same sensor that they use, but they had to just make a few adjustments as a few things that they could have done. But the good thing that I like about all those brands that I mentioned, including Blackmagic, they are always reasonable with the price plus the differences. That's if I'm making sense. But again, seeing Red Komodo and the Komodo X being almost the same camera, obviously you do have a half a stop and extra frame rate. Everything else, I feel like it's not really something that would up my quality. That is my opinion. And for them charging that much money, I feel like it's just a little bit too much. Also, the side handle that they dropped, again, it's quite unexpensive, but let me know what you think. I was expecting the Komodo to be one of these cool camera that offer 8K or something, but we do have 6K, which is still good. Again, I just wanted to tell you my thoughts. So if you really want to get your hand on the Komodo, I would actually suggest you buy a used Komodo, because there's so many people selling their Komodo. And now actually seeing the Komodo X and the Komodo, I feel like the original Komodo just is a good value for money, especially when you buy it used. As mentioned, you can pick up the Red Gemini used, which is a better camera. I also saw Red Monstro selling for 14K, which is a good price used. So guys, those are my thoughts. Comment below and tell me what you think. Are you getting the Red Komodo or are you not?